The other issue is they keep talking about electronic voting. Who controls the electronic system? I mean, so do you have enough ass- uh, assurance? I think that for the fact that you upload your number at the polling station, it will be what will be transmitted to INEC and collected in the proper way. Even in the US, part of the fight between the Democrat and Republican that they are using the electronic system and it could be manipulated. Now it could be that the Republicans or the Trump camp is wrong because over and over they could not provide evidence. But it raises the question that those things at least are manipulatable, right? So how do you may stay here and vote, but how do you ensure that the system records your vote? Because people will vote in the urban area and thinking they have the votes. But you may know what you vote in your area, but you don't know what others are voting, or even if they give you your accurate number of votes in one police station that you know. How about the police stations that are scattered all over the country? And I learned that people have not checked some of these police stations have been created newly, and some are in individual houses, as I read from the papers. So it's going to be an interesting stuff. But so you may guard where you are, but you don't know what is going to happen elsewhere and the transmission process. And it may be that they're not going to beat you with millions of votes. In a democracy, what they need to beat you with is one vote. Right. So somebody adding one vote or taking out one vote, or some transmission could not go through for whatever reason. That's a problem. And given the fact that we have network problems seriously, what are the dedicated network lines that they have to move the votes that are counted into the system? Maybe INEC has a way, but they need to assure every Nigerian that is going to work. What if on that day, let's say the votes in River State or certain parts of River State they are not able to transmit it? Is there a deadline where your vote will not count after the closing? Right? Or what if the system is being hacked? Because I know that as we speak, some people are planning to hack the system. Right? So you may transmit and it's distorted. And then they say it's thrown out. So we are at a very crucial point where we need to pay attention. Yes, the electronic system will cut down on the typical snatching of ballot boxes here also, but there are more things involved. Do we know who wired the INEC system in the INEC office? These are questions people are not asking. You
All
say
right.
you transmit. Who wired the INEC system? Who has the control? Who can go in there and corrupt the system and hack the system? If they could hack systems of United States and others institutions, what is the security plan of INEC? Who supplied the computers, the network? Who has access to it? Who can? And this is done over the air, right? Do you have dedicated stuff, or things could be manipulated? Because you'll be surprised, these things could be manipulated not only by Nigerians and Nigerian politicians, it could also be manipulated by foreign governments to suit. I mean, I was surprised in 2011, I was doing consultancy for the National Security Advisor. I was they brought me in that year. I'd worked with the CBN as a consultant. My background was also an investment banker before I became a teacher in the university. So I've done some work with the central bank on this project 2020, the project implementation office, and other things that we could do. So I spent the summer of 2011 doing that. So after that, the presidency and national security office had that. I was doing that kind of work, and they brought me to say, help us think through our national security plan. I went in there So look at the plans that they have also. And my interest was that, look, I'm not an expert on every aspect of security, guns, and everything. But what are the economic dimensions of national security? Right. And so I went in there to say, how can we build our economic up so that it's a form of security? And how can we understand that poverty is our greatest security threat in the country? And then corruption also being part of that. Now, one thing that I was talking to the National Security Advisor, I said, okay, how do I send my report to you? They gave me a Gmail account. I was like, wait a minute. So I'm going to. So you know that most people in Nigeria, government officials, use Gmail or Yahoo. They don't even have a dedicated account. You see how open. If you are working for the U.S. government or even my university like Boston, you cannot transact university business on Gmail or yeah. Also, so they use such as that. Then I asked them, and they have, by the way, they have very good internet, and it's all wired. I asked them who built this building and who did all the connection. I said, this is Nigeria National Security Office, the most secured office around. And they said it was built by a foreign company and wired by a foreign company. So I said, okay, do you know if there's anything in the walls here as we are talking? Or who is reading our stuff and manipulating our stuff? I was in that office when the first Boko Haram attack happened. And so that day, everybody was concerned about the Boko Haram attack at the UN building. So when the security guys they came around, I think at that time, Goodluck called a security meeting, and President Goodluck and everybody went in there. So when they came back, the national security guys, I don't want to name names. I then told a story. I said, while I was there, my former professor at Princeton had seen the news and wrote to me that, Nimi, I know you are in Nigeria. Are you safe? And I told him, I'm at the office of the National Security Advisor. That is the safest place to be. So when they came back, I now talked to them and said, you know, this is what my professor said. I hope I'm safe here. But I told him I'm the safest place. They told me, Nimi, don't assume that because you're a National Security Advisor office, you are in the safest place. He said, you cannot assume that. I said, why? They told me that they just went for the meeting. And one thing that they found out was that the UN building was supposed to have a door that was supposed to come down automatically, not allow the car to go in. But that system did not work, and that's why they go in. They said they have the same system in Aso Rock. That very day, they tested it to see that if somebody is coming with a truckload of bombs, whether the doors will automatically, the iron doors are supposed to come down. And I was told, sadly, that the last time somebody checked that door and checked the system working was when Obasanjo was in power. So we've gone from Obasanjo to Yaradua to Goodluck. No one has checked the system. So if somebody has driven a bomb, a truck bomb, turned Aso Rock, thinking that those doors will work, I was told it was then they realized no one has checked those doors at all. From Obasanjo time, they were doing it regularly. From Yaradua to the time of Goodluck, no one paid attention to that. Why am I telling this story? I'm telling this story not because I want to air Nigerians' shortcomings to Nigerians. We all know that, but to say that we are depending on a free and fair election based on some electronic system that are subject to the same Nigeria cavalier attitude, the lackadaisical attitude, the nonchalant attitude to managing things. So people are busy fighting themselves on the street who is going to win. No one is paying attention, or at least it's not subject to as much scrutiny as it should be, the very electronic system that is going to collect all these things. There is no transparency about that. And by the way, it's all centralized. So it doesn't take much effort. In the US, at least, they try to decentralize this. Every state has their own. So you have to overcome the 50 states. Even then, there are quarrels. But this is all centralized. Somebody who wires the system for INEC will just